Yeah, and good afternoon, everybody. Spin Ventures here, and we are live here at Lake Placid, Florida. And we are checking out the Railroad Museum here. Just drove, I still made a pit stop because I wanted to stretch my legs out and walk a little bit before getting back in the car and getting to our destination in Clewiston. That is not our final, well, our final destination for the day, and then we got something else coming up. That's why I've got this shirt on later on tonight. So, but first stop is Lake Placid at the Railroad Museum here in Lake Placid, and take a look at some railroad history. Trains is the theme for today's video, and just wanted to kind of venture out and explore this museum here in the Historical Society behind me right here. It's open, so we're able to go in, take a look around, and see some railroad history, and then we're gonna get back in the car and drive the rest of the way to our destination in Clewiston, Florida. There's the town, Clewiston. That's where we're heading for today. But first, I make my way up the hill along this old tracks, old rails here. Looks like the train's coming right at you, right there. Of course, like I said, that's our theme for today. But this is the Atlantic Coastline Railroad. It was built at the urging of Dr. Melville Dewey. He then petitioned the state to have the town's name changed from Lake Stearns to Lake Placid, as it was a winter residence for Lake Placid Club of New York. Passenger service continued until the 1960s. Then the station was closed in 1975. Historical Society of Greater Lake Placid Incorporated was established in May of 1982. The railroad deeded the depot to the society in 1984. Then it was transformed into a museum like you see here. That's the old depot of the railroad from the Atlantic Coastline. And this is a mural of the Atlantic Coastline train. Of course, it was ran on steam in the 1960s up until the early 1980s, when diesel locomotives began to evolve and began to take over the railroad industry. So now that diesel locomotives are the main part of the railroad, the steam engines have died off. There are still some steam locomotives in operation throughout the United States, and we are actually about to go take part in riding this Florida's own steam train. About, like I said, it's about an hour from here, and that's where we're going here shortly. But wanted to take a break from driving because my legs were tired. But let's go ahead and head on into the museum because it's open and it's indoors, away from the heat.
Schedule. They are coming on June 3rd and 4th. They're going to do another Lake Placid limited run out of Clewiston. So it's a run up here, which is about an hour and a half. They're going to be in town 2.5 hours and then go back down to Clewiston. Today, this weekend, they're doing quick runs out of Clewiston, and it's ice cream runs. So those are quickie runs. They're only $15 a ride. So if you want to run back down there, you can get on the train down there. But that's the kind of thing that we have working with them right now. They're trying to build a relationship and develop some kind of excursion program with them on a more regular basis. So you're welcome to look around, ask if you have any questions. Please don't hesitate. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you today?
And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. I'm actually heading down to Clewiston to the train. So, but here are just some rocks, some stones, bones. Hope. much. That's a whole bunch to punch train tickets. Here you got Alligator Head.
Oh my God, this is really look at this car.
Shark Jaw.
There's a granny rocker in the back.
Oh, wow. Of course, you got the Bobcat.
That's too funny.
And of course, here you got more of the
So, got TV in, we're gonna do videos on that for Thursday. International Museum Day. Oh. So the reason we opened up this area is we're gonna have chairs sitting in here, we're gonna do speakers. Okay. So I've got a couple speakers lined up, that are local historians. Nice. Because they lived here for so many years.
All right, the email came in, what else was amazing?
Well, Gilly Russell, who donated the jail to us, will be here. He's also a cattleman and drove owner. And Lamar Harrison, who donated the Indian Bowl to us, he's also a plating thrower. He'll be here. He was also retired sheriff's department.
We put out another.
We just finished putting our schedule together.
Oh, okay.
So if you folks remember before you leave, please sign my guest book.
Yes, ma'am. Will do. You're welcome.
So we're putting it all together.
Welcome to the history.
Flyer up.
I did not know. Okay, so Thursday is National Museum Day. Too bad I have to work. Or else I'd probably be down here. There it is, the Sugar Express. That's where I'm heading shortly.
Actually, I remember you. Absolutely. Well, thanks for coming.
That's fun. And of course, you got the brochures. There's the Sugar Express engine, locomotive.
And that's in Vero Beach. Vero.
Of course, I have done videos before on the Sugar Express, and it's just amazing and fascinating of what it is. There's the video there. That's what it looks like coming out of Lake Placid. I mean, I always love the old steam trains and Elms. Just the retro look. And the hear of the train whistle is also a beautiful sound. I just love it. But here's the Lake Placid merchandise of Lake Placid. They got a small shirt there for Lake Placid. Which I like the shirts. They only got the red. In the small, but they got the other ones in the bigger sizes, though, unfortunately. Size. But then you got the books. Nostalgic Florida, Vintage Art at the Sunshine State. Of course, we got more of the train here.
They have them all the time, different times.
And you got more of the trains here. Of course.
Where? Those?
I wonder where this train is at now. That's awesome.
I don't think this one's going. How you doing?
Hey,
How you
good.
been?
Good.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you again. Yes, sir. And you're showing you guys some of the memorabilia. This is more military. In the military, World War II. A silver-colored propeller, vertically with gold-colored wings protruding from each side. This pin was issued to members of Army Air Corps that were training to become pilots, worn by dress hat. Wow. There it is. World War One cavalry hat. That's an old American flag there. Of course, the female. Of course, you got the Battle of the Argonne Forest of 1918 from September 26th to November 11th.
What's this Velcro?
And then the Allied powers and associated powers. Allied powers were France, associated with the USA. The offensive called for a three-pronged attack on the Germans at the Western Front, with the AEF supported by the French army fighting the German troops at the Argonne Forest. Old typewriter, 1913. Three-wheeled roller skates. Ooh, that's early 1900s. Those would be interesting. So I wouldn't move right now. Of course, you always have the barber where you get a haircut. A Buddy Wise's barbershop. It's a replica. And then, of course, you got some of the women's clothing and that they wore back in the 1900s, early 1900s. Of course, you got the judge's gavel there. It's called a gavel. Let's see. Yes. Grady Parrish, the boy hero who saved the bank from being robbed on September 28, 1931. Wow.
What do you think?
And of course, you can see the Lake Placid Historical Society in Lake Placid, Florida. Of course, this is the old caboose here. This old caboose heroes. This old caboose here behind me. There we go. It was renovated and restored back in the late 1900s. Lower 80s, I believe it was 1980s. It was restored and brought to Lake Placid, and is now part of the Lake Placid Historical Society, and just sits along on just this basic track. The track is just long enough to hold this caboose, and of course cabooses are not used anymore on the railroad, not much, but however, there are still some cabooses that are used along some train routes. Like, mostly it's more museum train rides is what they use them for now, not for long journeys and long trips of trains like they were back in the 1800s, when steam engines, trains ruled the rails and ruled transportation in the United States. And so, but now, as you out there, this is the main line. Of course, they have a side track right here. It goes right in front of the station, and this is exactly where the train was. The Sugar Express was sitting right here at this station. The last time I rode it here in Lake Placid was the Christmas train with the Santa Express. That was the last time I rode this train out of Lake Placid and and went down the track toward Clewiston. Now, the train didn't go all the way to Clewiston. The train actually went halfway to Clewiston, then just turned around and came back. But overall, it was a very fun. It's a great experience. It was so much fun to ride the train and learn about the history, riding history, riding a historical train that's only found in Clewiston, Florida, near the sugarcane factory, which is where we're about to head shortly, as soon as I walk and get a little bit of exercise before hopping in the car to drive one more hour to our destination.